Greetings, conscious breathers. What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. I got a pretty busy day today. Or I like to say, what's on top of my head? It's Oregon plated pyramid. Well, pyramids. So we're going to talk about our electric ancestors. And if you didn't see the posts that DNA, human DNA, was found on meteorite from years ago. And that's not just one meteorite. They're finding a bunch of DNA on a bunch of different meteorites. There was even a news outlet that YouTube deleted their channel when they actually talked about this live on the news. YouTube deleted their channel, and they brought it back, though. But it goes to show you, like, what are they hiding? Yeah, tap in. So whenever I hear people that, try to go back to the land or quote unquote live in nature, right? They somewhat then demonize just a little bit of electricity, right? They're like, oh, electricity bad and it's not part of nature. I'm like, electricity is part of nature. You can make electricity with just water. It is nature. It is natural. The thunder. Hello, that is part of nature. It's just how it all goes back to how you're using the tool. It all depends on the user. It's not that the guns are killing the people. It's the people that hold the guns and shoot the people are killing the people, right? So when people try to downplay things like crystals or energy devices in general and say, oh, our ancestors would never use this and that, I'm like, how far back have you truly gone to understand that they were using certain devices to do certain things? But these devices actually were more harmonious in nature, in my opinion, too. And that's why they did some massively wild things. So let's tap into an elder that shows electricity, using electricity. Oh, the audio is lagging.
Okay, guys, I'm getting to my limit. The tester, there is an LED light.
All right, the audio is lagging. Electricity is natural. I don't know who said it isn't. It's natural. All right, let's tap in here. All right, I think the audio is just gonna keep on lagging. It's okay though. So now he has like an LED light tester.
Okay, guys, I'm getting to my limit. The tester, there is an LED light. It is used to test if there is a current. But because this energy very often doesn't register on a normal voltmeter, but it can light up an LED. So that's what we use. If I touch him, you can see this LED coming on. Well, fuck. Sorry, it's a bad word. Yeah.
All right, that was enough. But that goes to show you how powerful we as human beings are, but we generate electricity. It's part of our nature. So in terms of devices like Scalar or the Scalar impulse generator utilizing electricity that way, it all depends on how you use the tools, right? Earth itself, it's a tool. The air, it's a tool. The wind, the rain, it's a tool. Even Qigong masters, when they generate energy and stuff like that, they're not just generating out of nowhere. You're using the environmental surroundings around you and transmuting. Like this, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. You're not creating the energy. You're transmuting certain factors to have a certain outcome. That's why they say there is technically no such thing as free energy, because there isn't. It's all about transmuting. So let's tap even deeper into our ancestors.
Hey guys, today we're going to look at a strange artifact called the Baghdad Battery. The Baghdad Battery is a 2,000-year-old battery which is capable of producing
and they said what?
Electricity.
Electricity was created 800
we
years ago or
all know
something?
that the batteries were invented just 200 years ago in 1800 by Alessandro Volta.
Nope.
But history books are wrong and they hide facts about ancient technology. We are going to recreate this 2,000-year-old Baghdad battery and see if it is capable of producing enough power to light up light bulbs or to power motors, or if we can do anything useful with it. So let's go back about 80 years ago and see how the Baghdad Battery was found. In 1938, a German archaeologist known as Wilhelm Koenig found a dozen jars just outside the city of Baghdad, which is now the capital of Iraq. Now, these jars were about 5 inches tall, and they had a very unique setup. The jars contained a copper cylinder, actually a copper foil rolled up to form a cylinder. And in the center of the copper cylinder, there was an iron rod put inside. They had used a bitumen to make a stopper to make sure that the iron did not touch the copper. And this is a very unique setup. And the entire metal arrangement was put inside the jar like this. And here's the most interesting thing. These jars had traces of grape juice or wine inside them. And these metals showed serious signs of corrosion because of the wine or grape juice. This recreation is going to be very similar to the original one. This is a clay pot, just like the Baghdad Battery jars. And here is a copper cylinder, and I'm putting an iron rod. Now, the only difference is that between the copper cylinder and the iron rod, I'm putting in a cork stopper. Now, the ancient Baghdad Battery had bitumen. I couldn't find bitumen. But the only reason why this stopper exists is to separate the copper and the iron to make sure that these metals don't touch each other. So the choice of the material does not really matter. But this is the only difference between the ancient Baghdad Battery and what I'm doing now. So you can see the setup, and I'm going to use this as another stopper so that it doesn't fall inside. The next step is to pour grape juice. So here I've made some grape juice, and I'm going to pour this inside.
We're on a lag. Apologies, I don't know how to get over the audio lag. Instagram just needs to get better.
And then we're going to put the whole thing back into the jar. Now, the copper will act as a positive terminal, and the iron will act as a negative terminal.
Yep,
and the grape juice will be the electrolyte.
Yep.
Now, believe it or not, once you add the grape juice, you can actually hear the chemical reaction.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not here to just hear the chemical reaction. We want to see how much power is produced
would you look
from
at that?
this battery.
Would you look at
So let's
that?
hook this up to a voltmeter and see how much electricity is produced. Remember, I've already shown you an ancient Indian battery. This was about 5,000 years old. It was invented by sage Agastya. That battery was capable of producing 1 volt. Let's see what this battery does. Now, the beauty of the Baghdad battery is that everything is available naturally. Clay was available, and copper and iron are naturally available, and anybody could make grape juice. This is really what we need to make the Baghdad battery. So if we hook up the voltmeter to the Baghdad battery,
look, we got a bunch of
now
these
I can see that this is producing more than 0.5 volts. So it produces half a volt, and it is a battery beyond any doubt, which is capable of producing electricity. Now, one thing about the Baghdad battery is that mainstream archaeologists and historians actually accept that it is, in fact, a battery. Only a very few skeptics exist, even in mainstream archeology and
those
history.
Skeptics
and they
should just do it themselves because it's a pretty easy battery
claims that this is somehow not a workable battery. But most of the mainstream experts have accepted that this is, in fact, a battery. Now, we've only seen one battery, but I want to put in like a dozen batteries and see what the dozen batteries can do, if they can power up some devices. Okay, so you can see that I've put like a dozen Baghdad batteries together.
The first
now,
battery
I'm going to
can only do 1 volt.
Grape juice in all of them.
This can do 6. Sorry, some of the audio is lagging, so bear with me, guys. But as you can see, it's powering.
And I'm going to hook them all together. And once I put the grape juice in all these jars, then I'm going to connect all these jars together using these wires. So we'll have
this is an ancient battery if you're just joining
a
us.
dozen jars which are capable of producing about 6 volts. Now, this is my idea. Let's see if it works.
So that, I guess that was the point where you turned on the light and it worked. As you can see, he's not saying anything right now. Yeah, the audio is lagging. But that just goes to show you.
When I connect them, I can clearly see a voltage. I can clearly see that it exceeds beyond 6 volts. Now, what I want to do is I want to see if I can light up this light bulb.
And it did. We already saw that.
So if I hook up
I don't know how many seconds we're behind, but bear with me.
You can see that this light bulb is actually glowing. Now, let's turn off the lights and see if it's any good.
We're obviously way
So
behind.
here you can see how the bulb is capable of producing enough light. And here's a buzzer. And let's see if this buzzer will work with these batteries.
Yeah, so you need clay, grape juice, copper anode, and wires. Well, you don't really need the wires. The wires is just there to really test it out, but the wires can be helped to transfer the energy however you want to use it.
As you can see,
Not
the
sure.
buzzer
What did you-
also works.
Oh, so the buzzer is
when I
showing that
connect it to
electricity is
Baghdad
coming from
batteries. So,
those
so we can
ancient
see
batteries.
that it's capable of creating light. It's capable of creating sound. We could also make it run motors. We can even make it run machines. So we know, as a matter of fact, now that the Baghdad Battery, which is a 2,000-year-old
2,000.
battery, actually works and is capable of making enough power to do useful things. Now,
2,000.
mainstream experts and archaeologists accept that this is, in fact, a battery, and it could have been put to useful purposes. But they try hard to convince us when it comes to talking about ancient technology, because we all have this question in the back of our minds. Is this conclusive proof of ancient technology? And what do mainstream
heavily.
experts say?
'Cause anybody
They
can do
argue
this.
that even though it is a battery, such low voltage is not capable of doing anything useful. And this might seem like a good argument, but really it is a stupid argument,
It
because
really is.
a few decades ago, the bulbs we were using were taking up 100 watts. Now, this bulb that I'm showing you right now is only using 0.15 watts. Now, what does it mean? We're using 1,000th of the power we used 25 years ago. So we know, as a matter of fact, 100 years from now, our future generation will look at us and they'll think, oh my God, why did they waste so much power?
Energy.
And why do we use so much power? Because all these big power companies, all these companies which produce electricity, want us to spend more energy so they can make a lot
More
of
money.
In fact, we only need a fraction of electricity of what we use today to use all the complex machines. So Wilhelm Koenig, the archaeologist who discovered this and who actually came up with the idea that these were actually batteries, he was 100% correct. Now, why did ancient people need batteries? What were they doing? Now, there
bunch
could
of
be
stuff.
two important uses, and one of them was electroplating. We could easily create gold plating or electroplating using these batteries. It's not only doable, it's been demonstrated that this is quite possible. But there could be another important use of the Baghdad Battery. Apart from electroplating, the Baghdad Battery could have been used for something very different. We have enough documentation to know that early Romans and Greeks were using electric eels as painkillers.
Yep.
No, they were not eating the eels. What they would do is they would literally go and stand on top of an electric eel and get electrocuted so they can feel numb. Is this how they used the Baghdad Battery as well? And you may think this is a weird practice in the distant past, but
Nope.
no, this practice is still used today in hospitals. This is
electrotherapy.
called electrotherapy. Now, it's used to relieve pain. It's used to relieve joint issues, blood flow issues, and many other types of illnesses. Now, we know that this entire setup is creating more than 6 volts. Now, what would happen if I touch it? Will it heal me in some way? I mean, there's only one way to find out. I hope you guys like this video. I'm Praveen Mohan. Thanks a lot for watching.
Yeah, it would just end. He's so funny. But shoot, I'm gonna show you guys what what we're doing with the scalar impulse generator. So it's electricity that can be cold energy in a sense, where it's not going to shock you. It's not going. It's just like it's therapeutic electricity. It's neither negative or positive. It's cold, or you can say 0 point energy in a sense. I even have it on. I don't know if you can feel it through the screen, especially if you are nerve sensitive. You probably can feel it through the screen right now. So I'm going to show you guys a lady using the scalar impulse generator and the violet wand. So a lot of people know about the violet wand, where you like plug in and then you rub it on your face and stuff like that. Well, this is a lot different, because the electrodes that's connected with the scalar impulse generator is using a different type of electricity that generates a more harmonious, and you're not using dirty electricity. That's why I personally never bought those electro wands or those violet rays, especially when you have to plug it in. I'm like, that's technically still dirty electricity. Like, where is the converter on this? Because the original actually had, think about it. If it was Tesla's use of electricity, then it wouldn't be what we have with the wall socket. It'd be total different electricity that's actually more healing. And they had centers and they had places like this that did it. So I'm going to show you what we're doing with this scalar impulse generator. I need to actually update the website to give people the option to buy the electrodes if they want. So this is the bigger version we created. But yeah, that is how powerful electricity is when used in the right way, when you know how to use it. And there's a whole bunch of different documents out there using electricity to heal even the C word in a matter of minutes. It's all there. Go check out. I don't want to steer anyone in the wrong direction, but the first video that we saw was by Praveen, Praveen, Praveen. So I'm going to replay that battery video for the newcomers who are just coming on here. If you guys want me to replay that video and show a lot of people that our ancestors were not sticks and stones or just living on the mountains. Even if you truly know the history of Tibet and some of their ancient artifacts and their electric artifacts, you know that we were not that simple. Shoot, we may not even be from here, right? Again, they found DNA on meteorite dating from thousands of years, even, man, it just goes so deep. So let's tap into this. Let's see. Hopefully this will not be lagging.
Hey guys, today we're going to look at a strange artifact called the Baghdad Battery.
Wait, one more time.
The Baghdad Battery is a 2,000-year-old battery which is capable of producing electricity. We all know that the batteries were invented just 200 years ago in 1800 by Alessandro Volta. But history books are wrong and they hide facts about ancient technology. We are going to recreate this 2,000-year-old Baghdad battery and see if it is capable of producing enough power to light up light bulbs or to power motors, or if we can do anything useful with it. So let's go back about 80 years ago and see how the Baghdad Battery was found. In 1938, a German archaeologist known as Wilhelm Koenig found a dozen jars just outside the city of Baghdad, which is now the capital of Iraq. Now, these jars were about 5 inches tall, And they had a very unique setup. The jars contained a copper cylinder, actually a copper foil rolled up to form a cylinder. And in the center of the copper cylinder, there was an iron rod put inside. They had used a bitumen to make a stopper to make sure that the iron did not touch the copper. And this is a very unique setup. And the entire metal arrangement was put inside the jar like this.
Yeah,
and here's the most interesting thing. These jars had traces of grape juice or wine inside them, and these metals showed serious signs of corrosion because of the wine or grape juice. This recreation is going to be very similar to the original one. This is a clay pot, just like the Baghdad Battery jar.
All right, so I gotta actually jet out of here. But if you guys want to check out even the shaman who was using the leaf to safely generate electricity, and I can actually play that real quick, and then I'm gonna dip out. But electricity is healing. It really is, because we're electric beings before we're even quote unquote dense food beings. Apparently, if you like physically touch him, man. That's why he used the leaf. And now he has an LED light tester.
The tester, there is an LED light. It is used to test if there is a current. But because this energy very often doesn't register on a normal voltmeter, but it can light up an LED, so that's what we use. If I touch him, you can see this LED coming on. What the fuck? Sorry, it's a bad word.
We'll stop there, because I'm replaying videos over and over again. But long story short, electricity is healing. Definitely check out the Scalar impulse generator on my website. We're still shipping out orders worldwide, by the way. Totally available for now. Don't know what that's going to look like. But overall, this goes to show you that our ancient ancestors were utilizing certain tools to help. Listen, they probably looked at Earth, in my opinion, they looked at Earth as a huge generator, which it is. There's even stories of people coming to Earth, taking some energy from the core, bringing it back to other planets, if you will. I've actually heard a bunch of different people from having their own past life regressions and stuff like that. Personally, I don't like to talk about my past life, but one of them actually did that. And it was very interesting hearing random people I'll meet that have had done past life regressions, and they do remember in one of their past lives coming to Earth as a worker, so to speak, taking energy from the Earth in a sense and bringing it back, going back and forth, that type of thing. So even down with going back with the whole meteorite. The whole meteorite shows us that there's human DNA found on meteorite, coming from, if you want to say, outer space or another territory of the world, so to speak, coming into our resonance, into our environment. So what does that show? There's life beyond this plane, if you will. And it definitely is intelligent life. Who knows? What if that was like a message, so to speak, like, hey, we're out there. We're out there for real. Because all of a sudden now they're coming out that there's DNA found on these meteorites. And I don't understand why they didn't Maybe for many reasons, because many of them may have thought that, ooh, there's going to be weird alien DNA on it, then we can't talk about it. But no, they were surprised themselves. They actually found human DNA. So it's very interesting when I listen to people like Bashar, who's channeled by Daryl Anchor, and he likes to say that we're your future, so to speak. You guys are our ancestors, and stuff like that, in a sense. No, yeah, in that regard, in that sense, it's very interesting. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Anyone want to tap in or any questions here about that? And even the Lemurians apparently use Scalar. And just even look at those ancient temples. Like I showed that video, that ancient temple lighting up using the atmospheric energy. That's an ancient temple. That's over like 1,000+ years old, just lighting up in the middle of daylight. And all those birds were hovering around, and it was just lighting up. So it goes to show you that there's two sides of the spectrum. There was, even in Sumerian texts, you see the bombs. They were having a war going back and forth. So it all depends on how you utilize technology. It always goes back to that. It always goes back to the user. I truly trust, and even the Ethiopians, their ancient artifacts was actually degraded because they were organic. They were organic technology. The more you go back, the more you realize they were using organic technology that harmonized with the earth, to harmonize with ourselves, and to help create more of a harmonious environment. So if you guys found value here, please share it and watch it for replay. If you are watching the replay, share it around and comment below your experiences and your insights on our ancient ancestors utilizing energy, electricity, specifically electricity. Electricity is found in nature, literally the sound of thunder. The thunder itself, it's electric, and it can be healing as well. It can be very healing. That's why I want to end with this, something practical you guys can use. Anytime you hear thunderstorms and it stops, or at least have the window open, listen to it, just be still or just sleep to it. It is so healing. Afterwards, go outside and breathe in that negative ions, especially if you actually heard the thunderstorms. You are going to get a different feel of the air. It's a different resonance. It's healing for the body. There's also less glyphosate in the atmosphere too, especially when there is thunderstorms. That's why I love Miami specifically. In terms of this atmospheric region, has a bunch of thunder. So whenever it thunderstorms, I immediately, sometimes I'll stand in the rain and do a little energy work here and there and play with it. So have a breathful day. Comment below. Share this if you found value. Have peace and harmony.